The run-up to tomorrow's vote in Cambodia has been largely peaceful and relatively free of past violence. However, human rights groups say campaigning has been marred by the ruling party's control of the media and intimidation of opposition supporters. There's no doubt that Prime Minister Hun Sen and his Cambodian People's Party have dominated the election campaign, just as they've dominated politics for decades. In contrast, the main opposition party has struggled to get its message across to voters. But Hun Sen's main challenger, Sam Rainsy, is hoping to capitalise on discontent with soaring fuel and food costs.
With regards to rising food prices and gasoline prices, I think it will work against the current ruling party.
Despite solid economic growth, stability and a general sense of optimism, Cambodia remains one of the poorest countries in Southeast Asia, and sharp rises in inflation are taking their toll on the rural poor, such as these rice farmers. But the party that's led Cambodia since the genocidal Khmer Rouge regime remains popular with the masses, largely thanks to an infrastructure building program that's given Cambodians more clinics, schools and sealed roads. Hun Sen is so confident of victory he didn't even bother to campaign. And his standings benefited from a border dispute with Thailand that's fanned nationalist sentiment.
It is a national issue that has stemmed into an international issue. It will also affect the election.
Cambodia and Thailand have both laid claim to an 11th century temple that's been listed as a World Heritage Site. Both countries have stationed thousands of troops in the area. So far, efforts to resolve the territorial dispute have failed to end the military stand.
Predict the incumbent Prime Minister Hun Sen will be returned to power, continuing his 23-year-long rule. They say the recent border dispute between Cambodia and Thailand has served Hun Sen's political campaign well, with the Prime Minister taking a hard nationalistic stand against Thailand.
Cambodia's Prime Minister Hun Sen could well afford to smile as he voted. There was little doubt that he would be elected for another 5-year term. Hun Sen's Cambodian People's Party, or CPP, claims to have won more than 2/3 of the seats in Parliament. Final official results aren't expected to be announced for another 10 days. But it appears the opposition has been dealt a decisive blow, dashing hopes of loosening Hun Sen's 23-year grip on power. The former Khmer Rouge guerrilla became Prime Minister in 1985 and has ruthlessly cemented his position, including staging a coup in 1997. Opposition leader Sam Rainsy has called for a recount in Phnom Penh, where his party is strongest. He claims that 20,000 people in the capital couldn't vote because their names weren't on the electoral roll. But election monitors have dismissed claims of vote rigging and said overall voting went smoothly. ស្ថានភាពសន្តិសុខគឺជាទូទៅគឺល្អមិនមានព្រឹត្តិហេតុអ្វីដែលកើតឡើងគួរឲ្យកត់សម្គាល់ទេទាក់ទងនឹងរឿងដំណើរការនៃការបោះឆ្នោតនេះ One of Hun Sen's key election promises was to resolve the border dispute with Thailand over an 11th century Khmer temple. This afternoon, Thailand's newly installed foreign minister and his Cambodian counterpart opened a new round of talks aimed at ending the crisis, which is about to enter its third week. Thousands of troops from both sides are still massed near the temple in a tense standoff that is close to escalating into a full-scale military conflict.
United in opposition, Cambodia's smaller parties come together to reject the government's claim of an election win. They say thousands of people were unable to vote and have called Sunday's poll a sham. The preliminary results were due to be announced yesterday, but the Electoral Commission says they'll be delayed until all complaints made by the opposition are resolved.
ហើយបើសិនជាអស់មិនដឹងហើយបានគណៈកម្មាធិការជាតិរៀបចំការបោះឆ្នោតធ្វើការប្រកាសនៅលទ្ធផលបណ្ដោះអាសន្ន
Prime Minister Hun Sen had been widely expected to win another term after several years of economic growth. He's also gained support from a standoff with neighbouring Thailand over a disputed Hindu temple just inside the Cambodian border. There's been significant military build-up on both sides, but it appears conflict may have been averted after talks between the country's foreign ministers. Both sides have agreed to redeploy troops gathered in the area and committed themselves to a peaceful solution. This is the latest development in a dispute that's been running for decades. The temple was awarded to Cambodia in the 1960s by the International Court of Justice, but Thailand still claims a small area of scrubland next to the sacred site.
In the run-up to Sunday's vote, the governing party dominated the media and that tens of thousands of people had been left off the electoral roll. But the EU's chief observer said the problems did not affect the overall result of the election, which points to a comfortable win for Prime Minister Hun Sen and his party.